All right, welcome everybody. Hey, it is Monday, February 23rd, 2026. I think the green by lunch would be a little bit of a stretch, but overall it's not really we're down what, not even a percentage right now on the session. Let's just go in, let's look at charts, see what we can figure out here. Green by lunch, it's a stretch, but nice little V-shaped bounce so far on the day. So let's share the screen. Jump in, let's take a look at my little day trading chart here. I'll get off the video so you don't have to see me. And let's go through it, see what's out there, how we want to manage our portfolio. I mean, our portfolio is fine on the day. There's really nothing to do. I'm almost green on the day, so there's not a whole lot to do. We can look at the portfolio in a minute or so as well. But we'll take a look. So here's where we are in the day. Obviously, I mean, I've had to adjust this thing as we've gone through the day since we went down hard, but uh, opened up right here on this first red candle, and then red, 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 red. Now a little bit of a green candle, on this little bounce, but if right down here is where I would like to, if we can get to around the 68.20-ish level again, I really wanted to put on a zero DTE trade down here. I was going to sell a put credit spread. Missed it. I did sell two other zero DTE trades on the session. I actually bought SPY puts twice on the set day, so I've made quite a bit on those, which is good. Just doing a little scalping while we watch these markets gyrate around. We're selling off. Supreme Court struck down the tariffs. The market for some reason thought that was a good thing. I don't know that I agree with that. And then uh, Trump came out, says he's just going to raise tariffs across the board, not using the same uh, strategy. So markets are down on that again. So a short-lived little bounce, not to be expected. There was always going to be a backup plan. So if you don't think the president has a backup plan, you haven't paid attention out there. Right. So here's the markets. We're down near the lows. We came up, we bounced, we hit the 21 EMA on the day. Again, none of this makes a whole lot of sense for most of the trading we're doing, but it's fine. Let's take a look at what the market itself looks like here. But if we do come back down, I think underneath this 8 day, if we break the 8 again, the blue, I'm probably going to add a put credit spread at some point here. So we'll keep an eye on this. All right, looking at ES itself, we're just in a sideways market. We came down, we ran back up to the 21 on Friday, and then we're back down now. It's really just a very neutral market. You still have a bullish PSAR still. RSI has been rising and then falling, and it's just flat. It really hasn't really changed much since January 20th or so. But if you go even further back, I mean, this is really a flat market. I'm going to take this anchored VWAP off because this thing means absolutely nothing anymore in a sideways market. There's no place to look for us to land. Overall, yeah, we'll talk about gold in a minute here. And we're just in this trading range. I'll just keep extending these out. 8's below the 21, stocks below the 21, RSI below 50. Overall, we're bearish on the daily, no change there. If we look at the weekly, we're still bullish on the weekly chart, no change there. If we break this 6,800 level and this uptrend here, then, or if we trigger a bearish PSAR, we will officially flip into a neutral trade on the weekly. So weekly's bullish, daily's bearish. So I think that just sets up for a really nice strangle environment. But we could continue to sell off. So we'll keep an eye on things overall here. I'm still, again, short term, I think bearish. I wrote this down on the sheet the other day. So we've been looking at things. So we really are in this bearish to neutral environment, and that's what I'm sticking with. So it's not neutral to bullish as much anymore. It's now bearish to neutral, but I still think an at the money 112 trade, 113 trade, 11X trade. I think those look good. I don't think this is a good environment for a Jade Lizard. I think Strangle's not the worst piece. However, you need to stay above the 40 RSI for a Strangle, and I really would be patient here for another day or two. I don't think the markets are in bad shape. I really don't. I think we're just going to chop like this for quite a while. Yeah, green bars. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I really want to come back down, but we'll see what happens. All right. That being said, neutral environment. Just keep sticking on. These neutral type of trades that we've got. The 112 trades. We've got to put one on today, so I'm going to do one here. In Zoom. Might as well put it on. It would be great to be able to put this thing on near the lows of the day. So I think that's great. And VIX uh, is up to a whole $21. So VIX is definitely remaining elevated here. It's not at any extreme levels, but this is a nice place to be selling premium with VIX higher and the market neutral to slightly down, but not crashing. I think that's a really good environment um, to sell with here. All right, so let's keep moving on. Let's get on to oil. Oil kind of doing its oil thing. It's not crazy high. It's not crazy low. We put on another oil trade last week, so I am very heavy in 3 oil trades right now. We've got a at the money 113, that's up 77%. We've got a Jade Lizard, that's up 18% in 13 days. And then we added the Bull Combo trade on Friday. That's now up $50 or 5% since Friday. That is a war trade, expecting that we are going to go to war with Iran here. I'm still pretty convinced of that. I'll put it at 90%. I don't know what Polymarket is saying on it, and that's I don't know that Polymarket's the barometer for anything, but I definitely think the odds are we go to war. You don't move 2 and now 3 carriers into a region if you don't expect something to happen. That's an expensive move. And Iran seems, pretty unwilling. They have a red line. We have a red line. I don't think either one's getting to a resolution. That being said, we trade what we see, and what do we see? We see a bullish oil. So I think you can remain bullish here. I think 1x trades of any sort are good here. Now, if, and this is the if there's an agreement between the US and Iran, oil is going to tank and it's going to tank hard. Okay, so I would be careful of anything that is going to give you some downside uh, heartburn on this thing, because if an agreement is reached, oil will tank back, I think, into this, upper 50s area for sure. Is it going to go there in one day? I definitely think it could hit 60 on day one and then drift itself back into the upper 50s. Right. So there's my uh, there's my thing. So you've got to be careful. You don't want to put on trades that have a lot of downside risk. That bull combo trade still has some downside risk to it. I think you just have to be careful in this environment with what you do on oil. But I think bullish trades uh, are the way to go. But if, again, an agreement is reached, this thing's going to tank. First move would probably be down to this anchored VWAP or area around 61. That's my guess. But again, guesses mean absolutely nothing. Here we trade what we see. Hang on. All right. That being said, Okay, markets are still just flat since we've been talking. Looking at gold, gold's moving higher. Of course, it's moving higher, right? It's a flight to safety trade. Markets are weak. Markets are looking weaker. Bitcoin's looking absolutely like garbage. So you've got Bitcoin falling. The markets are weak. Trump coming up with new tariffs out there. The EU says, a big FU to Trump on that. We're back to where we were, I think in May, trying to figure out, okay, well, what's the next step? The market hates uncertainty. Friday, we had certainty that there was not going to be any more of the certain type of tariff. They didn't strike down all tariffs. They only struck down a few of them. Okay, which is important to read the fine print here, guys. It wasn't all tariffs, and we're not refunding anybody's money back. So don't, I thought initially that could be a problem. I'm not really worried about that. But now it's uncertainty as to where we go next. But gold's going to be, I think gold's going to continue to be the flight to safety trade. Uh, on this. So someone was asking me about what's making gold go up today. Well, it's got to be the tariff moves. It's got to be the risk in the Middle East, and it's got to be this sell-off here on the day in the market. So this stuff is all going to pump gold higher. You're going to see silver up as well on the session today. So silver is going to be back in play. It's not looked too good lately, but it's back in the swing. So now I think silver is back on board. And then again, stuff like uh, palladium, things like that. Here's palladium's chart. Looks a lot like silver, a little bit like gold. This one's not traded as much, but I do like palladium. Kind of as the forgotten metal. Uh, so there you go. Overall, I mean, I think gold continues to move its way higher. It's a nice flight to safety trade. Yeah, U.S. weakening dollar is something else to watch in here. As the dollar just continues to struggle, gold will also continue to do pretty well. You're also going to see rates falling on the longer terms here. So where are you going to put your money now? All right, rates are falling, so bonds don't look so great, which we're going to get into bonds in a minute. So bond yields don't look great. Market doesn't look great. Half of the software stocks are down 30%. That doesn't look great. Where are you going to put your money? All right. So the safest havens right now, gold, silver, palladium, things like that. And then we'll take a look at some sectors today as well. Let's jump into bonds. Well, bonds are back up. Bonds are back on the menu. Of course they are, right? Why wouldn't they be? Because rates are falling and it's going to be a flight to bonds. When things are crazy, people are going to get into bonds. So yields coming down, bonds are back up. We do have a TLT strangle. It's still up 13%. We're only 14 days in. It's fine. I'm not too concerned about it right now, but we'll see what happens. If the markets continue to weaken, yeah, we'll see. And the markets are not looking so hot today. All right, that being said, take a quick look at small caps here as well. Small caps definitely struggling as we're heading on to some more rockiness out there. Small caps shouldn't be, shouldn't be that bad, but there's definitely struggling in here a bit as well. Let's actually move this thing. And let's completely redo this structure. Right, so here's a nice little small cap triangle that we're setting up in. Let's keep an eye on small caps and what they do. But again, there's no trade here for me. Everything on small caps is bearish. So small caps, bearish. I'm out. I'm not touching them at all. NASDAQ as well. This thing is definitely bearish, while S&P hanging on sideways to, bearish to neutral, sideways trading. The Mag 7 suck. So they're heading down right now, and that's going to drag the NASDAQ down. There's just not much. Man, I sound bearish as hell, but I just don't see a lot of hope in the Mag 7 right now. But I do see just rotation. I don't think money's leaving the market. which I think is still decent overall for the markets too. Maybe drift lower because some of the top guys are falling. Taking a look at oil volatility cranking its way up today. So do you think that some settlement is near? No one in the world thinks that because they're pushing the volatility to its highest, second highest levels in a year now. So volatility in oil and volatility is rising in gold as well. Flight to safety is, would I go long on gold? I am long on gold, yes. I love gold in here. Is there a gold trade in here? Yeah, I think you can still do, you know, I've been touting it, and we've been talking about gold being bullish. We've been putting on 112s, jade lizards, all of those things. We've got the gold jade lizard on right now. That thing's doing fine. There's no risk to the upside. So I think that's a great trade right now. And I think a 1-1 anything in gold is a good trade. There's the bull combo trade that I did the other day on oil. I think you could do that on gold too. Uh, I think gold's going to hang in there. Where else are you going to put your money? Is the word of the is the phrase of the day. Where else are you going to put your money? Okay. You're going to put it in the ES, which is weakening. You're going to put it in oil, which it could, tank or skyrocket at any particular point in time. You're going to put it in the bonds, maybe. So, bonds and gold, I think those are the two places to be sticking money. You're going to put it in Amazon? No. Although I do think this gap can get filled on Amazon. Yeah, we'll talk about the bull combo today. We did that. We did that on Friday. I posted all that stuff out for you. But we can cover that trade and how to set that up. In fact, we could look at a bull combo maybe in gold here. Okay, but bonds are not really strangle worthy. And let me just do that before we move on. This RSI is too strong, too high. This thing's too strong of a move. Uh, it's still an NA or a bullish trade in bonds. So if you want to trade something bullish, fine. If you want to stay out of it, I'm fine with that too. Uh, but I think bullish is good. Amazon oversold down in here. It's in a good spot to potentially look to get in, but I don't know. It had its nice bounce on Friday with the tariff deal, but we're giving all that back today and more. So if we can get back above this 8 and get to 8 curling up, then I'll say, okay, let's get into, maybe Amazon, something to look at. I think for the long term, it's a great company, potentially, but I don't like it here. Nvidia doing fine here today. So Nvidia is up on the day, but this is just a neutral type of trade. We've got earnings. Is it Wednesday this week? Yeah, Wednesday, earnings Wednesday on this. The market, if Nvidia does not perform well or does not guide well, and it might have to guide really, really well, it could bring the entire thing crashing down. So heading into the market, overall, not loving where we are. I don't know that Nvidia can save anything, but it's hanging in there pretty doggone well. All right, Tesla. There's nothing good about Tesla in here. You've got, except for the fact that it is in a falling wedge. A break to the upside of that would be great. I don't know why. Uh, the robotics piece, love it. I do like Tesla as a company. I like Elon Musk. Guy's a genius. And I just like smart people. But I don't know about this stock. I think this stock is going to get readjusted, and it could get adjusted severely to the downside. So anyway, it doesn't look good. 8's below the 21, stock below the 21. RSI is falling like a rock, and you're about to trigger a bearish PSAR. It's very bearish. Okay. And it's falling 3% today. Meta, this thing's just struggling to get back to the 8 moving average. These are all below the 150-day, the 200-day. This trend line here is something to keep an eye on Meta. as it tries to figure out what it wants to be. Not happy. Apple hanging in there really well, so Apple's doing perfectly fine today. Nothing wrong with Apple here. If we take a look at Google, it tried to make a move today. It's failing at the 21, but it is above the 8. It's not bad. It's neutral. To bearish. I don't like it. I just don't like Mag 7. Microsoft, it's falling even further. Software stinks. You don't want to be involved with anything that has software, AI software related. Palantir, I think this thing's going lower. It could not get above the 8. It also looks bad. Somebody was asking me, well, why do I think the market's bearish? I think that was a post in the Discord today. Why am I bearish? Uh, the S&P chart doesn't look great. Okay, but when you start looking at all these stocks, they look terrible. Okay, so where is any sunshine? I feel like I'm the Debbie Downer right now. Uh, if if all this does is keep you doing smart, safe things, okay, then I guess that's my job right now is at least for me, okay, avoid doing stupid things. So play stupid games, win stupid prizes. When the markets are bearish here, there's no reason to be putting on bullish trades and trying to call bottoms. Okay. Because nothing here is bottoming. All right. Palantir doesn't look good. It's going lower, which is great for us because I own the 80 and I think that's really in play. So I think 80 on Palantir is 100% in play. That's where I may look to want to get in on Palantir. All right, Broadcom. It is the one stock that's hanging in there the most. But that being said, it's down quite a bit. It's flat. The 8 is technically below the 21. The stock again today is below 21. And look at all of these wicks to the upside. Bulls have tried to push this up every single day, and by the end of the day, they can't do it. Okay. Bulls cannot rally Broadcom here. And Broadcom's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be in a holding pattern. And if NVIDIA cannot save this market, and that's a lot of uh, work to put into one stock to save the entire stock market. Broadcom could definitely go lower. So I'm out now. I do have a put in it. The put's fine. The put's at the 270 level down here. Okay, this is where I think it's an opportunity down here. This might actually not be far enough. We'll see. We're up on that put. That puts up 22%. It's up 800 bucks. I'm thinking that I may not even stay a lot longer in it, even though this thing's holding on here. I don't know if I want to be in this put with earnings coming up on Broadcom on March 4th, which I think will be fine. I think NVIDIA could kill stuff. All right. That being said, AMD looks terrible. There's a gap to fill here. I would not be trying to buy a bounce in this thing until this gap is filled. So I'd be ignoring that. ARM, one of my favorites. I like ARM. It's performing decently here. I don't know. Do you want to get into this ahead of NVIDIA and watching what the market does? But overall, I think 112 trades in ARM are not bad trades. Okay, if you want to do a spec trade, ARM might be your guy. I don't know. We can take a look at that as well. All right, Boeing. This is not good on Boeing. Now, I like Boeing as a company. I think this company's had a great recent run up here. I mean, this is a fantastic run. Okay, from 176 to 250, and now it's back to 230 and falling 8 below the 21. Everything looks bearish. I don't like it here. All right, GE Vernova, it is still hanging up there. It looks great. It's weathering today just fine. HIMS, I don't know about this company. I don't know that it can go terribly lower, but I mean, anything can go lower on HIMS. but it is extremely oversold. Extremely oversold. I mean, this is as oversold as you can get on this stock, which is the only thing making it worthy of a trade for me. Hood, extremely oversold. You know, there's so many great things about Hood. And it's the Bitcoin play that's killing it. This is mimicking Bitcoin until Bitcoin can find a bottom, which is not doing now. Okay, until Bitcoin finds a bottom, Hood doesn't find a bottom. Okay, it's plain and simple, even though it's tied to Bitcoin a bit because it's 15 to 20% of its revenue is from Bitcoin trading, and that part is down. But I think the poly market, not poly market, I think that whole poly market type of stuff where you're betting on crazy stuff like, you know, will someone part their hair on the left or whatever, who cares? But Hood's Hood is making great strides in that. They just keep every week coming out with something great. This is a great company that has been absolutely destroyed in the market. And I really think that at some point this is going to be one of the greatest buys, just like it was back here. I think Hood will see another massive run. Okay. I think it is I think it's a great opportunity. So if we take a look here too, one of the things I like to look at is this 150-day exponential, okay, which is we're not far from that at all. So the 100 to 200, the trend line is like here. Okay, so we're still a ways. This whole area in here is just an interesting area. And I really like the support right here at 66. Okay, I think that's a good level here, and we're very close to it. Right. So anyway, there's my take on Hood. I really like this company. I really like them a lot. Uh, they've just been beaten up, and they cannot get out from under the Bitcoin play, even though there's so many other great things that they're doing. All right. Anyway, that's too much on Hood probably for you. IREN. I love this anchored VWAP in white. I love the fact that we're here. We're at this trend line. We're trying to hold on to it. We're near the 200. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for IREN to be holding up decently here, even though it is technically a bearish stock. It's fighting the 8. Let's see. I like IREN anyway. All right. I think Netflix is in a real significant opportunity area as well. It could not handle this previous support level, which now may become resistance. We start looking for other areas here. I'm going to just say anywhere in this kind of golden zone area. Um, okay, anywhere in this area here. Okay, I think that's the spot for Netflix. And we may be right at it right now with the 50 exponential, but if you go back, I'm going to put the weekly up because it's easier to see. From its lows back here in 2022 to the highs, you've pulled back 50%. That's a good area to potentially look at. The 618 is the key, but anywhere in this 50 to 60, we call that the golden zone. That's also where the 200-day weekly moving average is lurking here. Those are all good areas. So I think there are some opportunities setting up in some stocks. If I was looking, I would be looking somewhere between Netflix, maybe Hood, and then if Amazon can hold up at the 618 here, then okay, maybe. If not, there's 150 on the weekly, which is right around 191 or so, 192. I think that's the spot potentially. So I think we're getting close on some of these stocks. All right, let's keep going. Here's a crappy move on today. So Novo Nordisk, it wasn't even bad news. Okay, they didn't like have a failed triangle, but their obesity drug trial showed a 23% weight loss versus Lilly's 25.5, and we went down 15%. Okay, their weight loss drug showed a 23% weight loss. Lilly's just happened to be 2% more. Okay, so if you're a 200-pound person, you know, that would be 4 pounds difference. And you're going to tank the stock 15%? Stupid. Okay. So lots of stupid moves uh, going on out there. I'm not saying it's the greatest stock of all time, but yeah, we'll keep playing it. I was going to close out of it, mixing a salad. So, uh, for me, it's just one less cookie a week or something. So, hey, I think this is overdone. I'm not saying it's going to snap back. It's created yet you know, another gap to fill, which it already did the last time it filled its gap over here on earnings. Its earnings are fine, and its pill. It's not like it blew a phase 3 trial. It has a pill on the market, and the pill just slightly underperforms somebody else's pill. I don't think everybody's going to rush out and flip it. Okay, so I'm not saying go buy it here at all, but I was thinking of getting out. But I'm actually not down that much today because we have covered calls and we have protective puts. So I may just keep writing some calls on this thing and see where we go. 3-day rules in effect anyway, so we'll keep an eye on it later. Right? Yep. Time merchant 100%. 3-day rules in effect. So I'm not even going to bother doing anything. All right. Oscar not doing well in here. Now we do have an Oscar put at 11. Okay. Down here. Well, we're heading there right now. If you read about Oscar, it's a very innovative company. So again, fundamentally, this thing's a pretty good setup. Now, earnings were not great, but we knew that was going to happen. The guidance is incredibly crazy here. They think they're going to completely turn this company around. They're not ACA subsidy driven, and I think this thing's got a bright future. We'll see. If we get down to 11, it is a good chance that I may take this company and run with it. But it's obviously in a downtrend. I wouldn't be touching. I keep talking about Shop and Spotify. Both these looked decent. Pullbacks today on those. Um, and by the way, the market has done absolutely nothing since I started talking here at 11:30. We are down a few points. Doesn't mean we can't go down more, but I really should have taken a look at a zero DTE trade right in this spot. Yeah, is it even worth it right now? I know you cannot see what I'm doing. Uh, it's not. There's a lot of juice gone for the day by noon here, but there's still a decent amount left um, on this thing. I don't know. I think it's better to stay out. I've already got wins, so I'm going to stay out. All right. I do like Shop. It was really holding its 8. It broke the 8 today. Let's see what happens on Shop. But if you look at Spotify, same type of a thing. This not only did it break the 8, but it broke the 21, came back to the 8 today. Everything's down. Okay, these have had a nice run. There's nothing terribly wrong in here if you like stocks. And then you're looking at UNH, it's just continuing to hang out right in this zone down here. It's got a gap overhead. I'm in it. I'm selling. Uh, I've got naked puts, which are flat down at 240, which is way down here. So I've got these 240 puts looking at eyeing the same low that we had. If we get down there, we'll look at maybe acquiring it again and doing some more. If not, I'm writing covered calls on this thing, and we're just generating cash. All right. I don't think we need to cover too much more on there. And then Bitcoin not having a good day. It was definitely off its lows better earlier. It's down 3% today. Doesn't like the Trump tariff thing. We'll see what happens. Right. I do think there's probably a leg down. We may be looking at this 58,000 level down here to complete this 618 pullback. Could we get down here to the 50 level? Possible. Um, at some point, though, this will become a great buy opportunity for us. All right. So until those improve, then strategy is actually hanging in there decently today, which is good for us. So, and then BMNR. Okay, this thing's just down here with Ethereum, so nothing to do here yet. Okay, there's our stocks back to, again, nothing happening in the market since we've really started. Day trade or the daily inside thing looks decent here. Uh, I just don't know that I want to at this point in the day. I think I think a put spread is not a bad option, but I think I'll just keep the money I made on the day. All right, let's look at our account and we can see if there's any trades we even want to touch base with. You guys have posted a few things in here, so let's take a look. All right. Yeah, looking at our oil trades, they're great, right? So you got an at the money 113, it's up 77%. There's just nothing to do here. This thing looks fantastic. The only thing keeping this from hitting like a 90% right now is the fact that the IV rank is 69. Okay, so volatility is slowing this down from being a quicker full winner, but I'm good with that. Yeah, we'll look at that 5DT SPX as well. All right, so there's oil, and then we've got this Jade Lizard. They just decay really slow. Volatility is going to have a hand in that, but it's up, so nothing to do there. And then we did add this bull combo. Okay, so here's the bull combo trade from Friday. All right, you sell a put and buy a vertical call debit spread. Okay? So as long as we stay in here somewhere, fine. But if we go to war and this thing pops up here, we're going to make a boatload of money uh, on it. So it's not a no risk trade because if we fall back here, this is going to lose money quickly. So you got to size it correctly. Okay, but this is just a trade betting that oil may just drift in here or start to drift higher. Uh, but if there's any breakdown in talks and oil goes higher, that's the trade. Okay, so sell a put, buy a call spread. All right, that is your bull combo trade. We can look at that in something else. All right, ES, nothing to do here. We're up 50% on these naked puts from an old 112. These things are 42 days in, which normally they come off around 45. This thing's obviously not going to come off at 45. IV's up a little bit on the trade, but I mean, it's 18 days left. This trade's fine in there. And then if we take a look at some of these other things, oh, here's our at the money, one of our at the money trades. That thing's up 15% right now. So not too, I'm sorry, this trade's up 35% right now. So it's up 35%. We are in the trap. Okay, so here's where we are on the trade. This is a beautiful spot to be in. A beautiful spot to be in. If the market does rally, we're good. If the market just kind of lingers or starts to drift lower, as long as we don't run down to 6,200 in the next couple of days, uh, this trade is going to be in great shape. So there's the at the money 113. It's up nicely. Here's the other one. This one's up 44%. Why? Because this one was put on, even though it was put on almost 2 weeks later, it was put on in a higher IV environment like we are in today. So we will put another one on today. Right? So this trade is sitting in the sweet spot, which is the top of the mouth of the trap. I love this spot. This is exactly where I want to be. Okay, because I don't have to run up here. I still have a chance to drop in here as time goes by. And if we're still here close to expiration, we may still make way more than the tail as this, you know, as the T plus zero line lifts up. Okay, as we get closer to like 2 weeks before expiration, now we're making maybe $4,000. Even if we're not in the trap, we make more. Okay, which I think is a beautiful setup. I'm in these because I'm a little bearish and neutral on ES, and I'm going to continue to do those right now. Now we do have some old PDSs hanging around. Yeah, they're not doing a whole lot of anything yet, but if we fall, these will start to pay off and give us a little something here, like this one up here. Okay. Not doing anything today. It's only got 4 days left, so it's probably just going to die an unremarkable death. But some of these that actually have some time left in them, these might give us a little bit of a play. Okay, we have our 120-day naked put down here. We're in good shape. We do need to get on a new at the money 113. So we're going to go out close to 60 days, which would be April 24th. Love the fact that I have 100 wides here. But it's okay. Okay, the at the money would be the 100 wide here, right at the money, and then I'm going to sell somewhere around this 5,800 level on the downside. So, do we want to go 3? Well, let's see. 3 is still less than 4 that we were doing before. So if we take a look at this trade, just make sure we're looking at it correctly. Bam, here we go. All right, so here's the trade as it stands now. So the last few that I've done have been the last one I did that had all the really good juice in it was at $58. This is at $50. Still not bad. So $50, and the one before was at 50 as well, 50.75, which is exactly where we were. Nice thing about that is we're actually in this one, our buying power is in great shape. So we could make in the tail 25.40 using 18,150. This is a 14% trade if we land in this tail in the next 60 days. And if we drift down, but stay above 5,800, which is 1,100 points from here, okay, which would be a 16% drop. Doesn't mean we can't do that. If we drop hard and fast, you won't like this trade at all. But instead of doing and you could do a 112, okay? If I did that, I would need to do a 224 because of my trade size. So I think the 113 makes more sense for me personally. Don't just do a 113 because Tom did one. Do it, figure out what works for you. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at to put on for me. Okay. So we'll put that thing on, we'll let it bake in there. But if you're trading, what's the size of your account? Okay. If you wanted to do a 111, okay. Because you don't have 50 wides up here, it kind of screws you a bit. Let's take a look at this 53. Let's look at the 66 days. If we go to the 66 day, we do have the 50 wides. So we could get you could do a little bit better for yourself. Okay. Same type of a trade. Okay, but now because you can do a 50 wide, you can do a 112, which, hey, you can make 2250 using 14,343. This is a 16% return in the tail. Okay, nice return in the trap, same puts, but now I can do 50 wide. Okay, and so to me, this would be a good 112 setup. So I'm sticking with the at the monies here because this market is not looking great. And hang on, I'm going to go Discord here. I'm going to go to charts and trade ideas. I'm going to go to ES, and I'm going to paste this in here. This is the ATM 112. Okay. So if that makes sense for you, but for me, I would need to pump up this thing size-wise to a 224. Well, it's too much risk, in my opinion, to do this. It would still fit into my account at a 2x loss, but I just like the fact that I can do, okay, the 113 here. But you could do a 112 here as well. Okay, doesn't make quite as much money. The 112 setup in with the 50 wide, I think is the better setup. You don't really want to do 100 wide necessarily, but for me, if I just go to the 113, and now I'm making the decent amount of money, okay, on this. So this is the 113 trade. If you want to turn this into a at the money BA11, let's say BA112, okay. So the BA is a big ass. We want this big long trap, okay. You can drag this thing down further, okay. Man, you can drag it almost down to 5,500 on the puts, okay? You're not going to get much money in the tail because it's the BA trade, but it's so long. Okay, you have a long downside. If you think the markets are going to be drifting lower, then you're going to pull in about 5,200 using 8,200 in buying power. If you like the BA 111, okay, well, let's see, where do we have to go to break even? If we're doing a 100 wide, okay, we can't do anything less at this trade. So this is where we would be. I like to go a little more narrow on it. So if we go to the 66 day, now we can start to do 50s or 75s. All right, so let's look at this on the BA 111. I mean, who knows? Let's just do 5,500. Okay. I can't even fit this thing on the screen anymore, but well, yeah, you can right there. So there's a nice BA 111. Okay. You can make 2,600 bucks using 5,100. If the market drops, you have at least some cushion all the way down to 5,500. Now, if we drop fast, the T+0 line is bending down hard here. Okay, it's not going to feel good if we run the 6,100 very quickly. Okay, we're going to hit our trap-sized loss if that happens. If we just drift lower 1% a day for the next 11 days, this thing will look pretty decent. We're still going to be down 15%. Okay, and we're going to be down $600, but that's going to put us around 6,300. Okay, and this is going to look totally different if it's a slow 1% a day move, which is what we could see. If you wanted to get a little, Manjit did what, 75 wide with the 112. Okay. But you can do you can do the 75 wide with the 111 as well. So here's a 111 BA trade. Still not a bad trade in here, in my opinion. So this is an at the money BA 111. Okay. So an at the money BA 111. If you're thinking the market is going, downhill faster than that, okay, you could widen this out to 75 here. All right, 75 wide. We probably have to pull this up just to get a credit. Okay. There's the so at 56.50, which is still a decent ways down. Here's a little wider version, okay, where you're making almost 37.50 on 5,400. Or if you want to do the FB trade, you really got to turn this into a 112. Okay. And you can go wide. Okay. Now this one, and this is more of an FB trade. This is a 150 wide. This isn't at the money version. You don't have to stay at the money. If you want to go a little wider, like 200 wide, okay. Okay, you can go almost 200 wide, maybe 6,800, 6,600. Here's a 200 wide version. If if we sell off at all here on this FB trade, okay, we can make in this trap $10,000 using 10,000 in margins. That's a 100% return. But if the market goes higher, we don't lose money. You're just not going to make anything. You make 120 bucks. So, you pick what makes sense for you on these. Kind of like what I'm sticking with right now, but I do have the BA 111 here, but this is an FB 112. Okay. So it's an FB 112. You could also raise the put, down here a little bit if you want a little bit more in the trap, whatever you want to do. You move it around and you come up with what makes sense for you. What's your take on the market? Me, a little bearish to neutral, which I think sets these up really well for 112 type of trades. All right. That being said, we did not get a fill. The market's still hanging. Okay, so this thing is still not filled yet. All right, so we'll keep an eye on it. If we start to sell, then this thing will definitely fill. Okay, but we're just holding steady down right around the $70-$75 on the day. Okay, if we fall further, that thing will fill. If it doesn't, we'll figure something else out. Okay, we'll move it around a bit, but I don't mind that trade. All right, there's ES. We have naked puts on AVGO here. I talked about this here where AVGO doesn't look bad, but I've already made 740 bucks in 25 days. There's still a lot of time left on this trade. I'm actually thinking of just taking this off, okay, and just booking an $800 roughly win on that. And now I'm out of single stock risk. Okay, so I like that. We'll book the trade and we'll be fine. All right, let's take a look at gold. Did we want to look at anything gold? Somebody asked about a gold trade. Maybe not. Would you go long on gold? Bull combo. Oh, we can look at a bull combo on gold. I don't know if it'll set up. This bull combo trade, I like them shorter term. Let's look gold. The problem with gold is we'll look at actual gold futures, but they have been like nightmarish to trade. So GC sucks right now. It's very hard to trade GC. There's very few expirations anymore. Okay. If I had to go out 63 days on something and put on a trade, I couldn't even put on like a 112 trade here because I don't think I could afford it on this account anymore. I used to do about 15 wides. Go down here. Let's go 43.90. Go 4,400. Okay. This trade is going to cost me $46,000 in buying power. Okay. So it's just now it's nice. I'm going to make 4,700 bucks. It's okay. I'll make 10% in 2 months. So that's fine. You could do, we can change this into a little bit of a bear trap style trade where we could go, what would we go up here? We went 15 wide. We could go about 100 wide down here. 100 wide might be too much, but let's look at that. All right, so if we did this trade, take a look at it. Okay. This is how we could set up this bear trap, the OG bear trap style trade, where we actually have a uh, put credit spread down in the bottom. So this is the original bear trap trade that started it all for me years and years ago, where we would do SPX and I would do roughly 30 wide here and 5 to 10 wide up here, right? But this is the same thing. So it's the old OG bear trap. Yep. Yep. Broken wing. I thought broken wing put condors, whatever you want to call them. Unbalanced iron condor, any of those things will work. But 100 wide down here, this is actually not a bad setup. Okay, you can make 830 bucks in the tail. Okay, that's 15% up here. And then down here, if we do fall, and we're already down at 4,400. Yeah, this is a 2-2-1-1. We can do the 1-1-1-1-1-1 as well and take a look at it. Shoot, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I messed up one of my charts. I'm just going to look at gold really quickly here. All right, this gold, these puts at 4,400. That puts us at a pretty good level. It puts us where the bullish PSAR is. It just flipped today, by the way. It puts us below the uptrend line, puts us below the 50. It's going to put us close to where the 150-day is. I don't think this is a bad trade, to be honest with you. I kind of like this trade setup on here. So if you wanted to, if you didn't want to use GLD to do like a 1-1-2, you could set this trade up as well. So let's copy this thing and we'll paste this. So this is one way of doing it. And I'm going to put this in the gold one. So this is the GC, and this is a 1-1-2-2. I don't know. We got filled on ES, so markets are falling. All right, so this is the, whatever you want to call it, the bear trap trade. I'll stick with my original name, but so this is a 1-1-2-2 bear trap, which I do like this trade. It's pretty nifty looking trade. Okay, so if you want to stick with futures, which I always like, okay, that's one way to do it. The other thing you could do is that you could take both of these, make them a 1-1-1, okay, and this is how it looks like doing a 1-1-1-1-1, whatever version of this thing. Now, you're going to make, and what was the other one? I copied it here. Let me look. The other one was going to make in the tail 850 using, $850 using 55.58 is almost 15%. Okay, so that other trade was making 15%. Well, this one, we could narrow this to 10 wide up here. So let's see this one. This one makes 350 bucks in using 27.93. It's making 13%. Yeah. So still not bad, right? It's only 63 days and it's defined risk. Okay, so you do also define your risk. The most you can lose is going to be the distance between these strikes minus any credits that we would have gotten into from here, right? So the most you can lose is 8,400. So this is a defined risk version. So if that makes you feel better, this is not a bad trade. The 1-1-1-1. Okay, so let's copy this one and paste it in there. We're just venturing around. I like the trade. I like the other one maybe a little bit better. Let's see. But this is the GC 1-1-1-1 bear trap. A little less money, Okay, make a little bit less money, but it's okay. Uh, it's definitely less risk here. I don't know. Maybe that's not a bad trade. This is a 12.9% return in the tail. Maybe this is not bad. For me, I'd probably have to scale it up size-wise, so we'd have to figure that out. But um, I don't know. If you're going to trade GC, that's the way you're going to have to do it. Okay. Uh, could you trade? I mean, we can play around with all kinds of combinations on this thing. I just think that was not bad. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to look at just a different setup on it. So on this one, I'm making 370 on 2811. This one I'm making 13%. Just a little bit more. I have a little bit higher put, but size-wise, I would need to size this thing up in here. And if you're doing these, because you're not going to do a 2x stop on the bottom here, all I do is I size for the trap. Okay, so when I put these types of trades on, all I'm going to do is size for the max loss of the trap. If I can get $5,500 in the trap here, that's what my stop loss will be as well. So it's whatever the trap, 1x the trap profit is my stop loss on this, is how I manage them. Igor may have his own management of, I know he does some of these types of things as well. Uh, I don't know, this is not a bad trade here. It's still got some risk. I mean, my maximum risk down here is over 35,000, but again, that's not what I'm going to stop out if I hit a 1x trap profit. The only problem on these is you got more legs to try to get out of an asset. So that's the only thing, because this is not going to decay anywhere near as fast as a 112. So let's take a look at the 112 version. Okay, and let's see what we can pull off on GLD. Oh, by the way, on GLD, nothing to do here on this. Jade Lizard's in great shape, so we don't have to do anything on that. But if I wanted to put on another GLD trade, 53 days, and then let's put on a 112 here, kind of a standard version. So here's a 112 using GLD. You need these. Okay. This being said, what does this look like? Funky. All right, so here's the, oh, for the love of Pete. Here's what this trade looks like on GLD. Right, so now we just did like the 1111 and the 1112 or 1122 bear traps. If we just look at a standard 112, okay, this is going to decay much quicker at 400, and 400 on gold is fine. Okay, so 400 on gold puts us again at that exact same level as the 4,000 does or whatever. But so it's a good level. I like that. This trade, I'm going to make 286 bucks in the tail using 2270. So I'm going to make 12.5%. It's the same exact amount here. Sure, the max loss is significantly more. Okay, but your decay is going to be quicker on this trade than it is on the other. So it's whatever, but you're not using as much buying power. You're not having as much risk on the trade when you define the risk. I just like the naked put version. I think this works. Here, I think we could put something like this on as well. You could also if I'm going to size it for like my account here, let's just size it for something like this. And so if I size this for my account, it's not bad. You make a nice 10% in 50 some days. Up here, if we fall down in here, we could make more. You could do an at the money. We could also make it into a 113. Do you think gold, you know, is it great to put this on gold a day like today where gold is popping almost 2%? It's not the smartest thing in the world, but again, it's not the end of the world. Uh, on it, I think gold can hang in there. This is not a bad trade. You could also bring these up more. Okay, so if you wanted to raise your trap, make more in the trap. We're still making decent money now, but we're only making 908 bucks using 11,396. So now we're down to 7% in the trap, which is again nothing wrong with that. Does give you a little bit better trap. You could also then turn it into a 113. Oh, this is not even a 113. This is a funky hang tight. Hang tight. Let's go back to what we did before. Made a mistake. Okay. So here's the 112. Let's get this all the way back down to its core. Now changes to 3. And we could have made all of them different. But so if we did a 113 here and raised the trap a bit more, okay, now we're making 433 using 3594. We're still making 12% in this thing. I only need to do really probably 3 of these instead of 4. Okay, and I could, if I wanted to, raise the trap a little bit higher. I think keeping the trap here is not a bad spot. So hey, there's a 113. It's not an at the money 113, but it's kind of a standard 113. I'm gonna I'm gonna keep it to it. I'm gonna put a trade on because we're doing well in here. I think I'm gonna keep this on as maybe just a standard 113, but I'm just gonna do um, two of these. So it's a little bit less on here. And we can make $996 using 84.92. This is 12%. So any way you shake these, we're coming out with a decent percent if we do a 113. All right, I think that's a lot on this. Figure out what you want to do. This is a standard 113. You could put on a 112. I would just have to increase this. So if I do a 113, I'm actually using about the same, give or take. I'm waffling back and forth. 10%, still a nice 10% trade. If we fall down, we make some money in 53 days. I think this is not a bad trade. We'll see if we get filled. All right, a couple quick things, and then we'll wrap up with everybody here. Would you do an income or cover call on gold today? I probably would have done it a week or so ago. Today, it's hard to. I mean, I'm not even happy that I'm putting on this 112 trade today on this big update in gold, but I think gold still runs higher. I don't think it's the worst thing, Matt, to do here. It made more sense a week ago. Well, there's gold. So we got filled on the gold one. Okay. So just make sure I keep these things all straight, but there's the trade on gold. All right, we're in. All right, we're in on gold. We're in on ES. We're in good shape. Strategy. Should we do anything here? We've got 4 days left. We're at 70% profit. That's a yes for me. I'm going to roll. So we're going to roll, but I'm going to roll this thing. So 70% with 4 days remaining. I'm going to stay in the same expiration. Okay. But I'm just going to roll half the way down. So from 135 to about 129, we're going to book some profit. Yeah, so we're going to take some money out of that thing, and we're still going to have that we're running. All right, so there's fine. Oscar's fine. Palantir's fine. I mean, I'm looking for an 80. QQQ, it's fine. Nothing to do in here. Nothing to do with these. Qs are fine. SoFi, it's fine. We're looking at 17 on SoFi to potentially get in. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not loving it. Here, we'll see if we want to add some calls to SoFi. If I want to add calls to SoFi, it's a little late. Things already made a move. But if you're adding a call to SoFi, it is kind of really breaking some significant territory here. I don't know if I want to mess around with calls or just actually close the trade, but if we want to keep this thing alive a little longer, let's go out half the time, which is 25 days, and we could write something up here at like the 20 or 30 delta. Let's just sell here. How many of these do we have on SoFi? 10. All right, so if we sold 10 contracts on SoFi up here, let's look at the 21. We're going to bring in 360 bucks. Yeah. 360 bucks will help offset some of this 760 loss. So we can sell. It's decently out of the money for 30 days. Let's sell it. All right, so we will try to sell a call against our SoFi. Palantir, it's so up and down. I don't want to get whipsawed on Palantir necessarily, but it's got some support around here. So I'm going to hang on to that one just a fraction longer than SoFi. SoFi is just not looking good. All right, so we'll put this on and we'll see if that helps us out with the SoFi trade at all. SPY, we got a naked put, that's fine. Nothing to do here. TLT is fine, nothing to do on that trade. And then UNH, we got naked puts here. They're down a whole 75 bucks, nothing to do. All right, so one more trade. We've been looking at this SPX 5 DTE trade. The only thing I don't love here is that we are nearing the lows of the day. RSI is barely above 40. We can do it, but it's sketchy. 4-day trade. I really could have put it on. We can put it on. Let's put it on for Friday. Let's just see if this trade makes any sense in here. All right, sorry if I'm rambling, but I don't love the fact that we're at a 43 RSI and the no-go on this is 40. The SoFi trade was just me selling a call against my naked put, by the way. All right. 9 delta, I believe, is our delta on this thing. So 65, 65. I'm not loving the setup on this thing per se, but hang on one more second. What do we do? Doing, I think, a 30 wide? No, that was not it. What was the trade? I got to pull up my trade sheet, so give me a second on this. $20 wide. All right, so if we do a 20 wide, this is what we're looking at on here. We want to be right around this 9 delta. It'd be a little conservative. It's still 9 delta. I was trying to take in about a $1.10, 65.55. We're at the lows of the session. Let's go 65.50, 65.30, a nice round number. We're still at 9 delta. That makes sense. We're at a buck 20, which is fine. Just gonna do 10 of these. I think so. This will be the play on SPX here. No, I think we want to go close to 2 grand. Okay. So this is what we're looking at is the 65.50, 65.30. It's a sketchier trade with the market regime. However, the back test says as long as the RSI is, now RSI is under 43 and this thing's dropping, I think we got to be careful here. I want to trade it between, yeah, we're going to do it. So we're going to trade this trade 65.50. This is essentially 300 points to the downside. We're going to do it. I'm going to take it on and we'll see if we can get fill. I like to, let's see if we can get the one. Ooh. Let's see if we can get the 130 for it. Okay, we'll let that thing cook. So there's another SPX trade. As long as RSI stays above 40 here, that was the criteria for the trade. Nice down day. We'll see what happens. All right, I think this was a good bonus stuff. We're going to let you guys go on the session here. We'll post this video and we'll see you guys all in the main Discord. All right, see you guys.